Today, we're diving into one of the Bible's greatest mysteries, the story of Enoch, a man who walked so closely with God that he never died. That's right, Enoch is one of only two people in the Bible who didn't face death, the other being the prophet Elijah. Who was Enoch? Why was he so special? And what does his story mean for us today? Stay with us as we dive into this ancient mystery. So, who was Enoch? Let's dive into the details. Enoch appears in the book of Genesis, chapter 5, verses 18 to 24. He's a descendant of Adam through Seth's line, not Cain's. He's the son of Jared, the father of Methuselah, the one who lived for 969 years, and the great-grandfather of Noah. Here's what Genesis tells us. Enoch lived for 365 years, and the Bible says he walked faithfully with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. Genesis 5:24. That's it. Just a few verses, but they pack a punch. Unlike everyone else in this genealogy, who all have, and then he died after their story, Enoch's ending is different. He didn't die. God took him. What does that mean? The Bible doesn't say he went to heaven explicitly, but the phrase God took him suggests something extraordinary. Enoch was so righteous, so close to God, that he was spared the normal human fate of death. This is incredibly rare. Let's put it in perspective. The only other person in the Bible who didn't die was Elijah, the prophet who was whisked away to heaven in a chariot of fire. More on that later. So, what made Enoch so special? The key is in that phrase, walked faithfully with God. In the New Testament, Hebrews 11 verse 5 gives us more insight. By faith, Enoch was taken from this life, so that he did not experience death. He could not be found, because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God. This tells us Enoch's life was defined by faith. He wasn't just a good guy. He lived in constant communion with God, trusting and following him in a world that, according to Genesis, was growing increasingly corrupt. Think about it. Enoch lived before the flood, in a time when humanity was spiraling into sin. Yet he stood out as a beacon of righteousness. The book of Jude, verses 14 to 15, even quotes Enoch as a prophet, saying he warned people about God's coming judgment. This quote might come from an ancient text called the Book of Enoch, which we'll touch on next. But the main point: Enoch's faith was so powerful that God decided he didn't need to face death. Instead, he was translated or taken directly to God's presence. Now, here's where things get really intriguing. Beyond the Bible, there's an ancient text called the Book of Enoch that dives deep into Enoch's story. This book isn't part of Christian or Jewish Bibles, but it was widely read in ancient times and found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. It describes Enoch as a visionary who was shown the secrets of heaven, angels, and the universe by God himself. In this text, Enoch travels through the heavens, learns about the coming judgment, and even becomes a scribe for divine revelations. While the Book of Enoch isn't considered canonical by most traditions, it influenced early Jewish and Christian thought and gives us a glimpse into why Enoch was such a revered figure. Was he really taken to heaven to serve as a heavenly scribe? It's a fascinating idea, but since it's not in the Bible, we can only speculate. Let's talk about the only other person who shares Enoch's unique fate: Elijah. In 2 Kings 2:11, Elijah is taken to heaven in a whirlwind, with a chariot and horses of fire. Like Enoch, he doesn't die, but is taken directly by God. Why these two? Both were prophets, both lived lives of extraordinary faith, and both stood firm in times of widespread rebellion against God. Enoch lived before the flood, a time of growing wickedness, while Elijah confronted idolatry in Israel during the reign of King Ahab. Their stories show us that God honors those who walk closely with him, even in the darkest times. Some even speculate that Enoch and Elijah might return as the two witnesses in Revelation 11. But that's a topic for another video. So, what's the takeaway from Enoch's mystery? His story reminds us that a life of faith and closeness with God can lead to extraordinary outcomes. Enoch walked with God in a corrupt world, and God honored that faithfulness in a way no one else experienced except Elijah. It's a call to live intentionally, trusting God even when the world around us feels chaotic. What do you think about Enoch's story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more biblical mysteries. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.